Hello, this is Colin Liddell, and this is the Shortpod, a brief and succinct podcast focusing on the events and issues of the day. And today it is the 4th of November 2019. Now today I'd like to talk about some ongoing events in the dissident right, and most particularly the case of Richard Spencer, my former associate, who has been revealed to be a rabid Nazi.
We are coming back here like a fucking 100 times. I am so mad. I am so fucking mad at these people. They don't do this to fucking me. We're gonna fucking ritualistically humiliate them. That's right. I am coming back here every fucking weekend if I have to. Like, this is never over. I win, they fucking lose. That's how the world fucking works. Little fucking kites. They get ruled by people like me. Little fucking octoroons. My ancestors fucking enslaved those pieces of fucking shit. We're gonna win. I rule the fucking world. Those pieces of shit get ruled by people like me. They look up and see a face like mine looking down at them. That's how the fucking world works. We are gonna destroy this fucking town.
At least he sounds like a rabid Nazi. Now, I have absolutely no wish to defend Spencer. I think Spencer's leadership of the alt-right is probably the main reason for its failure, although hardly the only reason. But what I hear in that clip is the voice of a very, very weak and fragile individual trying to LARP as a strong and powerful leader. The fact that he used the K word in that manner makes it very easy to characterize this as storm-retard rhetoric and kind of neo-Nazi lean-ins. But, basically Spencer is above all else an insufferable WASP snob who despises anybody who doesn't belong in his immediate group. His past distaste for the Irish is well known. Of course, he doesn't like the Jews. He's often joked about Italians not being white and so on. This is the attitude of America's would-be upper-class parasite WASP elite. And of course, we know that particular group has faced a little bit of opposition in asserting their divine right to rule America. And Spencer is very much a product of those kinds of frustrations and irritations. Now, that recording was reputed to be made in the immediate aftermath of Charlottesville. And of course, the events of that day would be cause enough to make anybody angry. But in particular, it would have been hard for Richard to have coped with that particular setback. Being a completely lazy cunt, he didn't think through what was likely to happen at Charlottesville and come up with various ways of responding or dealing with that. So when the leftist trap was sprung, he was caught completely out of his depth as usual, and he went into a kind of infantile rage. And that infantile rage dredged up what we hear on the tape.
I am so fucking mad at these people. They don't do this to fucking me.
But what we're listening to there has to be seen in context. And round about the time of Charlottesville, Spencer was trying to actively assert himself in the alt-right. Now, of course, it's well known that Spencer kind of coined the term when he founded the site Alternative Right in 2010. And the site had some sort of impact at the time. And it was a serious intellectual movement in those early years. And Spencer then tried to shut down the site in 2013. And Andy Nowicki and myself managed to keep it going. And then a few years later, around about 2015, the term alternative right started to catch on. It started to become a bit of a meme. It started to become associated with all sorts of different people, and it started to mutate and in some cases be manipulated by outside actors in various directions. And this gave it a kind of viral energy. And then Spencer, who had discarded the term in 2013, then decided to throw himself back into the alternative right. And so by the time of 2017, two things were happening with regard to this case. Spencer was desperately trying to assert himself as the leader of the alternative right, but also the movement had been co-opted by shills and useful idiots and the usual kind of J-obsessed morons into becoming a more and more Nazi-esque movement. This was probably something that didn't really flow from Spencer so much, but he thought that to assert his claim to a movement which he felt was his by rights, he had to signal in a more and more obviously Nazi way. And this is, of course, what led to this ridiculous Heilgate situation at the November 2016 MPI conference. And that should have been a warning to Spencer. It should have shown him that, going down the Nazi signaling route was going to create all sorts of toxic blowback, which would ultimately kill the movement. But instead, he was much more focused on appealing to people in TRS and these Stormer trolls. That was his audience. And so he kind of got sucked into all this kind of Nazi-esque behavior, which came kind of naturally to an upper-class WASP snob like himself. I mean, a real Nazi you could have a little bit of respect for, but in the case of Richard Spencer, everything is just an expression of his inner weakness and total fragility. Anyway, that's my comment on this Spencer debacle, the latest of many. Over and out.